S11. We love animals, but what if you found yourself face to face with this right outside your window? Think about that. Today, when animals attack, not in the wild, but in the middle of suburbia. Frightening creatures caught on tape, baring their teeth, attacking anyone in their way. These parents found their 2.5-year-old caught in the grips of a furry predator. They had to wrestle their son away with their bare hands. Frightening incidents like these are raising the question, are animals becoming more bold? Wild animals going wild on us. Shocking door cam videos showing all kinds of wild animals where they clearly don't belong. An alligator on a golf course? A bear in a kitchen? Outrageous and brazen attacks that leave victims traumatized. A little girl out playing in her yard, charged by a coyote. A snake bites a man about to enter a home. An alligator in the family pool. When a mountain lion ended up trapped in this homeowner's bathroom, they smashed the window to give it an escape route. Listen as they bang on the door trying to scare it out. This man's scars are evidence of the life and death struggle he engaged in with a rabid coyote intent on dragging one of his children into the woods. The episode took place close to home, and since it happened, the family will never see their backyard the same way again. Scary. Joining us now via Zoom are Ian and Allison. You guys were out hiking, you saw a creature, you didn't think it was a coyote at first. What do you think it was?
At first, we thought it was someone's dog. People often walk on those trails with dogs off leash. And so at first, we just thought it was a German Shepherd or some other large dog coming up behind us.
And then Allison, the coyote did what I think is the unthinkable. Explain what happened when the animal stuck up behind you and your family.
Yeah, at first it kind of bumped my son in the back, and that's when I thought maybe this is a dog. And then it grabbed his hood with its mouth and tried to drag him backwards. So that's when my first instinct was just to pick him up and get him out of harm's way. So
the two of you were desperately trying to save your son. You grabbed the kids. Now, I noticed, by the way, your daughter, I guess, wisely grabbed the siblings and ran away to behind a tree or out of sight.
Yeah, so she actually went behind a tree and called her two brothers over to her. And they listened, which is good. That doesn't always happen. So that was good in that moment. That they listened to her. Yeah, it's
beginner's luck, believe me. So, then you have to make a decision, Ian. You know, you're gonna have to either stay and fight as a family or send your wife and kids to safety, and you're gonna have to fight this battle on your own. What went through your mind?
Yeah, it was a lot of back and forth with saying you need to take the kids and go to the car and get some help because I did have a cell phone, but it was between me and the coyote in my zipped jacket, so it wasn't exactly a viable option. So she was able to, let's say marital banter. In the moment, she was able to take the kids and run away, which was really hard. That was hard.
That was a hard moment.
Allison, 20 minutes on your way back to the car with the small kids, you had no idea what was going on with your husband. What went through your mind?
No, I mean, that was for sure the hardest part for me, was to not only leave him, but then to stay calm for my kids to, because their questions were, is daddy going to be okay? Is daddy going to die? Was actually one question. And that's hard as a mom to hear that from your kids and to stay calm because you don't have an answer in that moment. And so, I just got them back to the car and my objective one was to get them in the car to safety because we didn't know if they're pack animals. We didn't know if there were more of them. And so, and then to get my cell phone and be able to call 911. And then it took another, probably 10 or 15 minutes before I knew anything about whether or not my husband was going to be okay.
I'm going to underline the point. I think you did the right thing to run because they are pack animals. If there's one, there's more. And that would have been an impossible feat if there were 2 or 3 of the coyotes. In any case, Ian, I had a chance to look at your health tracker, which was working, and your heart rate was a very respectable 108. So You were obviously worked up, and it may have been fighting with your wife to get her out of there, but as much as the animal. But I know you're an animal lover, and I know this came up. The coyote was not backing down. You actually had to fight the animal to its death. What was that like?
Yeah, in the moment, it's someone had pointed out, did you have an ethical dilemma over, animal safety? And it wasn't an animal. It's hard to describe, but the coyote became not a viable animal, but really just sort of a weapon aimed at myself and my family. And really, optionality was limited. It was, it's going to keep attacking me or chase my family, or I just need to sort of end it.
So, Allison, after the coyote attacked your son, you learned something even more frightening. This would have petrified me. What did the police tell you about an infection?
Right, right. So when the first responders show up, but part of those first responders were the New Hampshire Fish and Game officers, and so they obviously know quite a bit about animal behavior, and we know too. We live with coyotes in our backyard. They don't normally act this way. They're pretty skittish. They'll go away if you kind of yell at them. And so we thought this animal was acting pretty sick, and they confirmed what they thought was a rabies infection. My husband and I were both bitten, so we both had to go through the rabies vaccine protocol.
So how are you and your family recovering? And how's your son in particular?
Physically, you get over it very quickly.
Yes.
After the adrenaline rush subsides, you turn right back to normal life, and you seek medical help. But the emotional side is lasts a long time. We went right back to work. We tried to just sort of soldier through, and that was a mistake. We should have taken some more time to work through, have conversation about what had happened. So that was, I think, a mistake. But having, was it 3 weeks now, I suppose, since then. Well, you can probably speak to the kids a little bit better.
Yeah, the kids are, our daughter, who's the oldest and is able to process the best, seems to be doing the best. The little guy who was involved very directly in the attack is having the hardest time. And sleep has been the biggest impact. So we're having night terrors and nightmares and, lots of difficulty sleeping, but it does get better. It gets better every day.
Yeah, every week we've seen improvement.
Yeah.
The coyotes under the bed don't exist as much as they had been. So, they're working through it. This morning when we woke up, the coyote was gone today and not in the house. So, they're working through it in their own machinations as they need to. But, the important part is they're working through it.
Well, congratulations for surviving. Ian and Allison. There have been disturbing reports of coyote attacks in cities and suburbs. There were 2 recent attacks in Chicago. Up next, a terrifying attack caught on tape. What would you do if this animal was in your backyard? And I share the terrifying moment a bear came charging at me. We're back with the wildest and scariest animal attacks that happened too close to home. That was footage from doorbell cams that caught mountain lions roaming suburban neighborhoods carefree. There have been reports of mountain lions on the prowl, terrorizing communities, including the one my next guest lives in. Eileen says she opened her back door and saw a mountain lion just feet away from where she was standing. She watched in horror as the lion attacked and eventually killed her dog and was afraid she was next. She joined me via Zoom. Eileen, you say that earlier in the day you'd heard that there was a mountain lion in the area, but you weren't fazed. Why is that?
Well, I live in the open space of Southern California, and because we live in animal country, you just don't live in fear that you see them, but you just don't think about it regularly.
All right, so you open the door. You open your door and you see the mountain lion in your backyard, right there. What went through your mind?
It was just shock and terror. I've lived in this area for about 4 years, and my biggest fear and protection of Puma was always the coyotes. And that particular night, it was about 2:15 in the morning, and I had woke up to use the restroom, and I could not believe what was laying there, and laying right 15 feet from me laid a mountain lion. And before, of course, he's protecting Mama, and there's something back there in the backyard that shouldn't be there. She had him. She had his head in her mouth before I could even before it even registered. Oh my God, that's a mountain lion. You know what? And then I just went into protective mom mode, and went. I basically jumped right on her, pounced right on her. Being born and raised in a farm in Minnesota, I've had experience with animals and whatnot, and so my instinct was to pry her jaws open because she had his head in her mouth. So I got my hands in her mouth and also got on top of her. I could tell that she wasn't healthy. It was a horrific smell, and her coat was all mangy and skin and bones, but she just laid there. She never even moved. She just laid there, clamping down on his head. And I had my hands in her mouth and my knee up to her neck, and just kept like pouncing up and down on her, trying to do everything in my power to get her to release him. But I didn't even phase her. I even had the time. I ran back in the house to get something to help me. I grabbed a broomstick and came back out with that, and was just poking, punching it at her or whatever. And then I knew it was over. I knew it was over. And then up until that point, I don't even think she cared that I was there or knew that I was there. But the minute that he was gone and I knew he was gone, I watched that last movement. And that's when she gave from her gut. It came from her gut like a growl. And then I think reality set in, and I was like, what am I doing? This is a mountain lion, and I am on top of wrestling a mountain lion. But at that point, that's when she let me know I best leave her alone now. And that's when I came back in the house. I ran back into the house, and there was a friend of mine here, and I raced upstairs and got her.
Eileen, I'm so sorry this happened to you. I know the animal was never caught. Do you feel unsafe in your neighborhood now?
I haven't been in my backyard since.
Thank you for sharing your story. I wish you the best recovering from this. It's horrible to lose a pet, especially when you witness it. Let me bring in wildlife expert and host of Animal Planet's Animal Bites, Dave Salmani, who's lived with prides of lions for months at a time. We've seen these animal attacks happen closer and closer to home. What is going on?
Yeah, I think it's our urban sprawl, and it's animals finding more and more ways to utilize urban areas. Because we've encroached their space, they're living their lives, and they're trying to find out ways to safely live amongst people.
And there are lots of animals around us that we don't even see.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing. People always said, oh, a habituated animal is a dangerous animal, and that's not true anymore. What we found is that, the bears that know how to operate around people, they avoid you, and they know how to do it. The coyotes, the same thing. What's really dangerous is a startled animal. So if you find a grizzly bear in, Montana or something that's never seen a person, and then you stumble across it, well, that bear then gets nervous and reacts aggressively.
See, I thought that was the case, and then I was out with my wife hiking again in an urban area, and this is a picture I took as we began to run away. That's a bear behind me.
Oh, man.
So my wife and I had very different perspectives on what to do with this bear, because it was running after us.
Well, why don't I give you the what you should have been doing?
All right. If anyone's attacked, not just me, but if you're attacked, what do you do?
Yeah, so, first off, if you're in the bush and you come across an animal, you do what you did. Enjoy it. Take a picture. Because most of the time, if an animal lets you see him, it's because he wants you to see him, right? But then let's say you're starting to notice behavior that makes you nervous.
Galloping after you, which is what I noticed.
Okay, so that's the next phase. You got to make yourself big, and you got to act aggressive. So what do I mean by that? So let's pretend you're the bear, right? You're the bear. Now you got to learn how to growl. Do the. That's it, perfect. Okay, so I'm here. If I'm with my wife, I get her right to, so I'm gonna act big, I'm gonna stand up, I'm gonna clap my hands, but let's say you still keep coming. Now I'm like, hey, hey! Now I yell really loud, hey, hey, bear! And it's like, everyone's here already running out the door.
Right.
People don't like that stuff, so loud, loud. So if you continue to still see that aggressive behavior, you've done your clapping, you've gotten together, maybe you got a big stick and you're waving around, and none of that works. I always tell people, this is what you need to carry with you. These are mine, that's why they look dirty.
I'm sorry, do you ever run away? Because that was the issue.
Stand your ground. Always stand your ground. Running away makes you look like prey. So any predator loves the look of something that's running. So if you stand, it's a big bluff. So where I'm like, hey, I'm big and scary, these animals have grown up around urban areas where they go, people are scary. They've learned through their parents that the bears that interact negatively with people get shot. So inherent fear of humans is not true. It's a learned fear of humans. So standing your ground, you're bluffing it out, right? So if that doesn't work and that animal keeps coming, I will never go into the bush without these two things. This is my bear spray. Never put it deep in your pack. Put it somewhere accessible. If you're running, like you said.
It's called bear spray, but it works on every animal.
Any animal with eyes or breeze, that's going to work in. Or a bear banger. Bear banger like this, I always just run with it right here. It's not cumbersome at all. How it works, it's a charge. It shoots 30 feet in the air and is louder than a shotgun. So I'll take this off because I don't want to shoot with it here.
Please don't.
So this is armed. If it had this on top, then I go pop, it goes in the air and bang. It's
straight up.
Just like a shotgun. Well, the problem is, practice this if you're going to do this at home, because if the bear is there and I point it at you, it's going to bang behind you, and the bear is going to run right at me. Same thing as if you got your bear spray. Practice your bear spray. This is going to shoot a stream like a fire hydrant, maybe 6 feet wide and 20 feet long. But if you don't notice the wind's coming at you, you're just going to spray yourself. So you got to practice. You got to know what you do. And if you do practice, please clean out the nozzle of your bear spray. Okay.
They calmly, you walk away after this.
So you're still the bear. Let's say you're there. Now I've made you a little nervous, so you're kind of back in. Now I'm like, okay, the aggression's kind of gone away, but I'm not perfectly safe. Now I'm going to stay facing you. I'm going to stay holding on to my children in my hands, my wife in my arm, and I'm walking back. If you make any movement towards me, hi! And then you're going to keep going back, and then I'm going to calmly, quietly go back. Give the animal space. The animal wants to get away from you. We're talking about these things that never happen. But with this information, you should have the confidence to go into those spaces and love being around animals. I know it's the 1 in a million chance that you're going to get attacked, but with this information, maybe you like living with animals a little bit better.
Maybe it's 1 in 100,000. All right, Dave, thank you. We'll be right back. Up next, dollar discount stores under fire. We reveal what we found in our undercover shopping investigation. Could what you're buying be a bad deal for your health and for your wallet? Today, dollar discount stores under fire. You might have seen the recent headlines of the FDA calling into question some over-the-counter items that did not pass their standards. This may even include potentially unsafe products manufactured in China. So I set my investigation squad to do some undercover shopping to find out if our favorite dollar discount store products could actually be unsafe. Reporter Mars Campo joins us now.
Dr. Oz. Well, dollar discount stores can help you stretch a household budget, and we all love a good deal. But the big question is, could you be paying the price with your health?
Like so many people, I love dollar discount stores. But after recent headlines, I'm a little concerned. Could products that are so cheap be safe too? To find out, I'm going on a little undercover shopping spree.
This is a mess. I'm supposed to use this on my face. Look at this. Products are opened, products are spilled out.
I started gathering some of the stuff I use every day. Lotion, cotton balls, reading glasses, hair dye, wipes, face masks, and batteries.
Wow, so 6 batteries for $1. That almost seems too good to be true.
There's no question, I saved a bundle.
So here is everything that I bought. Now I'm going to take it to our med unit and find out more.
Mara's here with the hidden health risks you might not have bargained for when shopping at the dollar discount stores. The first is CBD products. Now, all season long, we've been investigating the latest hype on CBD products, and I was surprised to find these products being sold at dollar discount stores because the price just doesn't seem reasonable. For $2.50, $3, they are offering you products that I think probably have to cost much more to be effective.
Yeah, and generally CBD products are pretty expensive. You know, the case here in some cases is misleading labeling. These products may contain no CBD, they may contain little CBD, or they may have another hemp-derived ingredient like hemp seed oil. The other thing is in some cases, they're just not giving you very much. So you may be paying for a packet with 2 pills, you're not really getting a deal.
Yeah, so the full month supply really would cost you what we think.
Yes.
So the kinds of claims you're making, and we just gave you some examples here, are all over the place,
Yeah.
which is true of many CBD products. What did you see in the dollar discount stores?
Yeah, they claim that CBD can help with a range of health issues, from gut health to muscular support, mental performance. I even saw some that claim to be able to help you with weight loss.
What?
With weight loss, if only there were a magic pill. And they'll say things like alleviate your pain, reduce anxiety. Those are the claims we're seeing.
So we looked at CBD, we're doing a whole series as you've been watching. And right now, the research is just ongoing. There's not a lot you can say specifically about mental performance. These are shaky at best claims. So I personally wouldn't go down that rabbit hole, definitely at a dollar discount store. Okay, next item, batteries. Now this seems like a pretty reasonable place to go.
Yeah.
A battery's a battery's a battery. How much do they cost?
You would think. Okay, so this pack of batteries was $1. There are 6 batteries in here. I was shocked by that. It seems way too good to be true.
They're usually about $5.
They're much more expensive in the drugstore.
But not all batteries are created equal, are they? We have heard that dollar discount store batteries may not last as long.
Yeah, so we did a little experiment. We did do this experiment on a small sample, so it may not represent all dollar discount batteries, but we put them in 2 flashlights, and we found that the flashlight with the dollar discount battery was way dimmer. That light is much dimmer.
So mine is the drugstore. See, this is on. Is it on?
It's on. We had to double and triple check.
Yeah.
So these.
Do y'all see that difference? And I think you ought to do this yourselves because you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this part out.
So it's much dimmer.
But we did something else. I wanted to actually do a little experiment. I wanted to see how it would affect the battery life to leave it on. So we put batteries in these flashlights and we left them on for 90 minutes. The $1 batteries lost close to half their voltage. Half their voltage. The name brand batteries lost only 10% of the voltage. And there's a little voltage machine, it looks like this. You can actually check the batteries after you've put them in the flashlight to check that. Again, you can do this experiment yourselves. It's a small time deal, but doing the best we could with our medical unit, it's pretty clear to me that you're not gonna get the shelf life either. So it's not very bright.
Exactly, and that may have something to do with what they're made of. So we found that the dollar discount batteries tend to be made from carbon zinc, whereas the drugstore ones tend to be made from alkaline. You see that on the pack, it'll say alkaline batteries. Well, the alkaline batteries are less likely to leak corrosive chemicals, so they're gonna last you longer, and they tend to be better quality. So you're gonna change these a lot more often.
So again, some concerns, just raising them. Next discount item is cosmetics. Face sheet masks. Well, my wife, she's like well, I won't say.
It's a huge trend.
It's a trend. She wears them all the time. I get scared. She scares the grandkids. They're all over the place. You look for these products.
Yeah.
Well, right? I know you've all been there. I'm not the only person who walks in the house. Ah! Well, give my wife back. What ingredients did you find in the products?
Okay, are you ready for this?
Please.
This face mask contained an ingredient that was named Allergen of the Year in 2004. That's because it affects so many people. Now it tends to be used in shampoos to create like a bubbly lather, but what it does to your face is it leads to irritation and breakouts, skin dryness, not what you want from your face mask.
Yeah, why would you pay for that?
Why would you pay for
Anything, even if it's inexpensive.
Yeah.
So what did you uncover when you looked at the lotions? There's lots of products that seem like they could be commodities.
Yeah, also with the lotion was not the best news. We found an ingredient in the body and face lotion that is known to cause irritation. It causes skin dryness, irritation. It could clog your pores. So again, probably not the thing you want to buy from a discount store.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the other items from Mara's undercover shopping haul, right? She's got cotton balls here. She got some milk. She even got reading glasses, which I could benefit from. Listen, not everything's a problem. Up next, we're going to reveal which of these you should be buying and which of these you should skip on your next trip to the dollar discount store. Stay with us. We're back with our dollar discount store investigation, revealing what to buy and what to skip on your next shopping trip. Investigative reporter Mars Campo is back. Should you buy or skip this first dollar discount store item? It is reading glasses. Audience, what do you guys think? They're the smartest audience of television. I always say that. Most of them think we should buy. Some of them are coming down to take these actual glasses. They cost more than $30 in a lot of stores. What did you find them costing in the dollar discount stores?
$1.
Literally.
We found these for $1. I was blown away.
Well, the question is, do they work? You want to do a little experiment?
Let's do it.
Daphne, come in. Daphne's from the audience. She's kindly volunteering her eyes.
Hi, hello.
So, if you don't mind, Mark, show her the book.
Okay.
I got a little reading here, and I want to see. You normally wear reading glasses?
Oh yeah, I
You
can't
do.
see a thing without them.
Okay, we're all getting there. So, just can you read that? Okay, is it comfortable? Is it straining a little bit?
It's blurry.
Blur. Okay, try these.
Letters go up.
If they work, I'll buy them for you. They're only $1.
Oh, I wanted red.
What? Well, I don't have. I can't. You know, I'll find red for you.
But I wore red. All right.
Well, I guess this could work. Maybe. Let's try that first.
Let's try this first. Okay. Oh wow.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, really nice. My favorite foods are kale. I don't think so.
No, you have to read what it says, Daphne. No cheating here.
And Greek yogurt, and I know you put that there because I'm Greek.
Yes, exactly right. Here, just for that, you can have both. Take them both. They're only $2.
Good, because we lose these at home.
That's why it's worth buying
I don't
a lot.
know where they go.
You actually, Mark, I think it's a reasonable thing to buy at $1 store.
Yes, Daphne hit the nail on the head.
These look good, right?
They look
Yes.
fantastic, especially with that red. You know, people lose their glasses all the time. So if you've paid $1 for them, it's not that big of a deal. But you do want to make sure that you choose the right magnification.
Yes.
Because if they're too weak or too strong, it could be bad for
Yeah,
your
if
eyes.
they're too strong.
But this is the kind of
Then
thing
you
that you
get
can't
dizzy.
mess up because you can audit it yourself. And if it works, get it. It doesn't work, you don't. Daphne, thank you
These
very
are
much.
really nice.
Enjoy them both.
Thank you.
All right. This next item is very, very interesting. It's dollar discount store milk. More and more people are relying on stores for food. People running in there, they're picking up their milk, the price seems right. You argue that it's not the expiration date, which is what I was concerned about.
Yeah.
There's actually something else in the dollar discount store milk that we should be concerned about.
Yeah, we saw a ton of food at the dollar discount store, and the big concern for people is food safety, right? You don't want to buy something that's going to make you sick. So the good news is we didn't see any milk that was expired. But the bad news is you're not really getting the value you think you are because you can only really buy a quart size, not a gallon like at the grocery store.
This is what we buy in our house because we drink a fair amount of milk.
Yeah.
So when you do the math on this, walk us through what it would amount to if you're truly buying a gallon's worth of milk for the family, but rather buying 4 of these quarts.
Yeah, you're kind of getting a discount by buying it in bulk with the gallon. You would have to buy 4 quarts, which would be $4. Whereas at the grocery store, you would pay about $2.60 for a gallon. So that means you could be paying 30% more by buying your milk at the dollar discount store. That's not really a discount. And we saw this with a lot of products. Cereal, which is pretty expensive, we would see small packages. You're paying $1, you're gonna have to buy a lot more.
Yeah, I like a lot of things in life. You get what you pay for. In this case, it's not the expiration date, it's not the health of the product that we're worried about. But mathematically, you're not getting your bargain, which is why you're there in the first place.
Exactly.
All right, next up, cotton balls. Now, these seem pretty straightforward. How much can they cost in a dollar store?
So in the dollar store, these were $1, and we saved about $2 by buying them at the dollar discount store. So proportionally, it's a huge percentage.
Well, was the quality adequate? I mean, the batteries are cheaper too, but it wasn't worth it because of the quality.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I actually took this test on myself. I used these cotton balls the way I use cotton balls to take off nail polish, to take off makeup, and I found that they
There you
worked
are.
perfectly. They took my makeup off, they took my nail polish off. So this is a great deal.
We have a dollar store buy here.
We have a dollar store buy.
All right, yeah, this is smart, though. I think the good news about dollar stores is they give you good pricing
Absolutely.
sometimes. The bad news is you got to be a buyer beware. So you can find all the latest dollar discount store deals or no deals on DrOz.com. We did the homework so you don't have to. We're going to give you a dozen more items you need to know about today. We'll be right back. On today's Health Court, a daughter who worries her mother's look may be a killer. Literally. Can old makeup make you sick? Find out next. Bickering couples, warring neighbors, friends and family divided. When it's time for resolution, it's time to take them to Health Court, where Dr. Oz rules.
The plaintiff says her mom's a makeup hoarder who will only stop with a court order. She needs to come to terms that her makeup is expired and probably filled with germs. And her eyeshadow is a shade that went out of style last decade. The defendant says she's not falling for the expiration date racket, and her makeup keeps her looking younger than her age bracket. It ain't no trick. She looks this good because of her tried and true lipstick.
Health Court is now in session. So, plaintiff, how old do you think your mother's makeup really is?
Honestly, Dr. Oz, I think it's older than me. It's probably dated back to the 80s. Her mascara is so dried out, it has cobwebs on it.
So, defendant, what do you make of your daughter's bold accusations that your makeup is from the 80s and actually older than she is?
80s was a great time. I was in college. I look good. I still look good, so I don't foresee it as being a problem.
So, plaintiff, you may have a different style than your mother. That's probably common for most families. But you have concerns that go beyond the cosmetic ones.
I'd say so. I just moved out of my mom's house recently, and I use her makeup sometimes when I forget mine, and I had an eye infection.
Any other evidence, plaintiff?
Yes, I have plenty of them. Her makeup is so dry that she barely scrapes to get the bottom of her foundation.
Actually, if you don't approach the bench, please.
Yes.
Bring the entire exhibit. So you were saying the makeup is so dry that what is happening?
It's so dried out that she has to scrape to the bottom of her lip gloss even to get to it. And there's so much
What's that?
foundation
Oh.
left that there's all powder.
Oh. It does sort of, yes. Looks cheesy.
Yeah.
Is that how
Pretty
it's
cheesy.
Is that how it's supposed to look?
I don't think so.
All right.
It really looks like it's very old.
All right. Thank you very much. You may take your seat. Defendant, why are you holding on to your makeup so long?
Because it still works. It looks great, and I don't see a reason to get rid of it.
Do you have any evidence that this makeup is working for you?
Absolutely. My face. It still looks good.
This is one of those cases where I need a little help because we don't study makeup in medical school. Maybe we should, but I called in an expert witness today who's always putting her best face forward. When it comes to cosmetics, no one knows better than style and beauty guru Denise Caldwell. Please approach the bench. Before we get to the evidence, do you have any questions for the litigants that may help clarify this situation?
I do. I brought my definitive guide to makeup shelf life. And this guide actually shows you how long you can safely keep your makeup products. And then the other side will reveal how long the defendant actually kept her makeup products.
So the first item is?
Yes, so the first item is concealer. So concealer, you're only supposed to keep your concealers and your foundations for about 2 years. So if we see the other one where we talk about the defendant, she kept hers, Barbara's makeup, for 3 years.
Oh my.
So you're only supposed to keep it for 2 years. So 3 years, not so bad, not so bad. Now, lipstick, 1 year. Only keep your lipstick for 1 year. Let's see Barbara. 4 years. Yes, that's a long time. Mascara, 6 months is how long you should keep your makeup. Barbara, you kept it for 2 years. It's a really long time.
So you entered some photos of potential health crises that could occur into discovery. Is that true? So let's start off. We're going to look at these individually, and Ms. Caldwell will describe what we're seeing, and I want you to be honest about whether this has happened to either of you. First off, we're seeing pimples.
Yes, so with pimples, so with like foundations, you know, if you keep it over a long period of time, this is an example of that. You'll see where your foundation and the oil start to separate over a length of time. And as you know, with oil, it starts to clog your pores. So that's where pimples, different bacteria, breakouts, and skin irritation can start to happen with that. Now, you know, this is just an example where you get all the foundation of the discoloration starting to come to the bottom, and the oil starts to rise to the top, because that's something that happens over the time. You know, with foundation, sometimes you shake it a little bit so that everything kind of meshes together. But if you're keeping it for a long period of time, it's only so much shaking that you can actually do with it before the oil rises to the top. And that's what irritates the skin and causes the pimples.
What about the issues of cold sores, which can be incredibly painful?
Now with cold sores, your lips, the top of your lips, are actually it's a very thin layer of skin to begin with. So sometimes if you have a thin cut or you already have something that's kind of progressing as a cold sore, that can irritate it more and really deepen the health issue of that.
And this last issue, which I gather you could associate with mascara, is the eye sty.
Yes. So with the mascara, if you see here, you know, mascara, your eyelashes are actually made for your eyes to actually protect your eye. So when you think about debris and different particles that actually enter on the mascara, then you have your tube, you know, you open it, you use it, and then you stick it back in there. All that bacteria, all those particles and stuff are in this mini tube. So you're keeping it in there and you're securing it in there. So that's why you should only keep it for that 6-month period so that it doesn't infect your eye.
So defendant, let me turn to you.
Correct.
You've seen these photos presented by Ms. Caldwell, which are scary. Any thoughts about the safety of these products, especially as you see how much outside the window of expiration you are with your products?
I do, and I can understand it now, and it looks like I'll be going to makeup shopping after the show.
Well, there's one more bit of surprise evidence. While you were trusting this process, we also wanted to verify what was going on. So with your daughter's help, we actually confiscated your makeup, and we sent it to a lab to be tested. The defendant's makeup may be past its prime, but will it make her sick? When we come back, our lab test results revealing what's really lurking in the shadows. Eyeshadows. You can't make up this case because we've been hearing about makeup. Plaintiff has brought her mom, Barbara, to court today because she says her makeup is so old and germy that her look may be a killer, literally. Barbara doesn't buy it, she just hoards it. She says expiration dates are a scam. Joining us as our expert witness, our makeup guru, Denise Caldwell, and her evidence, and she has one more piece of that evidence here. We sent the defendant's makeup to a lab. Denise, tell us what we tested.
We tested 3 of Barbara's items, a lip gloss, a mascara, and her eyeshadow, and these are the results.
Oh my. There was no fungus, and there was no bacteria. Surprising.
I object because that's not what medical studies have shown.
Sustained. I've looked at the data, you're right. The studies have continually shown that expired makeup, which is why they have expiration dates, in fact, do have bacteria and fungus on them. I'm ready to make my ruling. Despite the results of this particular case, studies that looked at larger samples did find bacteria in old makeup. Makes me concerned. So beauty hoarders everywhere, consider this your tough wake-up call, or rather, your tough makeup call. I rule in honor of the plaintiff. The daughter wins. We saw these lab results, right? That makeup expiration dates have a reason. They might become breeding grounds for bacteria, and they may not only contribute to skin breakouts, but nasty infections as well.
I'm surprised by Dr. Oz's ruling. My makeup might be old, but it was clean.
Science doesn't lie. We need to go shopping.
Do you want to take someone in your life to health court? Go to droz.com/healthcourt to submit your case. In season 11, we're sharing how the power of one powers all of us. And that's certainly true for little Jonathan, who was born colorblind and ended up sharing the gift of color with hundreds of others. It all started when this video went viral.
Okay, they're all yours.
His principal has him try out a special pair of glasses which help moderate the wavelengths of light the way his eyes can't on their own. He's looking around. He sees color for the very first time. Imagine that. The first. Would you cry? I would. And this is the best part. His principal hugs him. Oh my goodness. But after receiving a pair of glasses like these, Jonathan went on a mission to raise money for other children who are colorblind to get glasses for them so they can experience what he went through. And joining me now via Zoom is Jonathan, along with his mom, Carol. Jonathan, I like your glasses.
Thank you.
So your initial fundraising goal on the GoFundMe page was $350, which I thought was pretty ambitious. How much have you raised?
Well, it's really exciting because we just passed 100 times of our goal and we got $36,000.
100 times the goal. What is it like, Jonathan, knowing that you have helped so many other children see color for the first time? Because they can experience the emotion that you had.
It's really exciting knowing that other people will get to experience what have I experienced. And, you know, there's like nature outside, but that doesn't really matter. All that matters is that they'll see the Fortnite and Minecraft in true color.
Spoken like a real teen. Carol, how proud are you of your son?
Oh, wow. You know, as his mom, it's been such an amazing thing to witness. For the past 6 weeks, the eyes of the world have been on him, and he's handled it with such strength and grace. He's taken this short window of media attention and used it and shined it away from himself, and is helping so many other children, and I'm just so proud.
Well, Carol, I'm proud of you. Good mothering, Carol. Nicely done.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You can all see here in this example, when someone puts on these color blindness glasses, right? It helps their eyes discriminate between colors. You can see red and orange and purple, and suddenly they all appear. The green is so much more vivid. Jonathan, of all the colors that you've been able to see now, which is your favorite?
My favorite color is definitely blue because I didn't know there was more than one shade of blue until I got my glasses. And we're going on vacation next month, and I can't wait to see the ocean in all its color.
Something else. Jonathan and Carol, thank you very much. Learn more about the science behind colorblind glasses on DrOz.com. Remember, the power change lies in the power of you. One person with one voice speaking the truth. Goodbye, everybody.